Today, there is a greater willingness internationally to work with India and build relationships of mutual benefit and mutual interdependence. This augurs well for our development and for our security. The steps that successive governments have taken since 1991 have helped to finally remove what development planners used to refer to in the 1960s and 70s as the external constraint on India's growth. Indian industry and our professionals have demonstrated to the world that ability to step out with confidence from a highly protectionist environment into a mercilessly competitive one. We do have a vast, unfinished agenda of social and economic reform and development as outlined in our National Common Minimum Program. And our government's highest priority will be to implement this. Doing so will further enable us to deal with the challenges of globalization. Ladies and gentlemen, I submit to you for your consideration the idea that the global environment has never been more conducive to India's economic development than it is today. The world wants India to do well and to succeed. However, we recognize that our real challenges are at home. It is for this reason that the National Common Minimum Program places such great emphasis on increasing investment in infrastructure, agriculture, health and education, urban renewal, and the ushering in of the knowledge economy. Having ensured that there is today no external constraint on India's growth, we must now ensure that there remain no internal constraints to development as well. This is what the NCMP aims to achieve, and this is the goal to which I commit our government to work diligently. Today, however, that the external constraint on growth is no longer binding is not to suggest that we are making full use of the new opportunities that the evolving global economy offers. There is much more we can do to draw on global savings and to tap global markets. As a developing economy, we must draw on international resources to fuel our development to a greater extent than we have done in the past. We should be more open to global capital flows and better prepared to take advantage of the new markets for goods and services. India rightly is wholly committed to multilateralism in international trade. But we will seek the reform and democratization of multilateral institutions. At the same time, India will strengthen South-South cooperation aimed at enabling all nations of the South in regaining their rightful place in the Committee of Nations. Ladies and gentlemen, globalization is both an opportunity and a challenge. A decade ago, who could have imagined that India would be a major software services exporter and that a new process of brain gain, not brain drain, would be created by opportunities in the software sector. However, we must ask ourselves, are we doing enough to secure this edge? There's a long mile ahead. The growth of our knowledge economy has opened up new markets for science and technology-based products. Again, are we doing enough to encourage this process? In manufacturing too, there are new global opportunities that we must tap. The end of the multi-fiber agreement opens up new opportunities for trade in textiles. We must ensure that we are ready to take advantage of these new openings. We would like to make globalization a win-win game. How do we deal with the challenge of globalization? And how do we make use of its opportunity will shape our relations with the outside world and the perceptions of our capabilities as a nation. I do believe that this has already happened in substantial measures. Our relations with major powers, especially the United States and more recently China, have increasingly been shaped by key economic factors. Who could have imagined a decade ago that China would emerge as our second largest trading partner? In the case of the United States, an acceleration of people-to-people contacts and the consequent business-to-business interaction has had an enormous impact on our state-to-state relations. Shared values and growing economic links have enabled a closer strategic management. Similarly, business and commerce also underpin our strategic partnership with the European Union. I also believe that our strategic partnership with the Russian Federation can be enriched by a greater focus on revitalizing our bilateral economic relations. Even our approach to the wider Asian neighborhood has been so influenced by economic factors. The countries of East and Southeast Asia have become important economic partners for us, and this has encouraged them to be more welcoming of us.